Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to our news conference today with Purdue Fort Wayne as they are preparing to play Ball State in the Molten National Match of the Week. And we're now joined by Rock Parat, the head coach of Purdue Fort Wayne. We'll be joined shortly by a couple players as well. But, Coach, I guess we'll get stuff started. Season opener against one of your biggest rivals. Give us your initial thoughts on the upcoming match.
Well, it'll be interesting for sure. I mean, we haven't played. This will be our first match in over 300 days. Ball State will have matches under their belt. And obviously to go down to Worthen Arena and play there to start our season and conference play, it'll be a very challenging task to say the very least. So I'm expecting sloppiness. I'm expecting ugliness. I'm expecting all of those things to take place because that's been universal across a lot of platforms that I've seen volleyball matches. Opening night has been pretty bad across the board, and I expect that to happen. I think our guys will be nervous and jittery, and they just got to learn to settle in. And once they get a set or two under their belts, I think we'll be fine.
And Coach, you alluded to it earlier. Ball State, this is going to be match number 5 for them, match number 1 for you. But for your team, how much training have you guys been able to get in January in preparation for this upcoming match?
We've gone, I think, 3 full weeks. We started on January somewhere around there. So, we've had 3 solid good weeks of training and practice. And, it gets a little tedious at times. It gets a little anxious at times. Guys get tired about beating themselves up in the gym all the time. They want some fresh meat. They want some new opponents. So it'll be good to get outside of our controlled environment and get into real life play. And for Ball State, I watch both of their matches at George Mason, and it's they split both of those matches where they could have also easily went 2-0 against George Mason on the road, where I thought you can tell their experience really held true the second night in particular. They learned from their mistakes the first night to take advantage of the Patriots the second night. So, I like what we've done in the gym, but until you play live competition, it's really hard to evaluate where you are right now. And we'll get a good evaluation about that this weekend in Muncie.
Yeah. So, Coach, I want to ask you, 2020, you entered the season with really high expectations, and you had some good moments, but a couple stumbling blocks as well. It kind of got an incomplete picture of your team, obviously, with everyone else, just because the season wasn't complete. But how do you feel that this team, having experienced that in 2020, has helped them prepare for this season, just handling some of the expectation?
That's a great question, and I really, truly wish I had the answer to that question. I would like to think that our guys are, and I think this would be the case across the country, hungry to play. Just the opportunity to play and cherish the moments to play, and because of it, play with a sense of desperation, urgency, and a high level, because you never know when it's going to end. And I thought, even though we did have some really tough matches and some tough losses a year ago, I like to think that our experience, both physically and mentally, have prepared us for what's upcoming this season with only play for us. So that's a great question. Only the players can answer it. I can give you a coach's insight or analysis, but I don't play. So hopefully our guys understand the fact that things happen, and things can happen now during this season of 2021 with COVID and cancellations, etc., that you never know when it's going to end. So you got to go up and play with a sense of urgency and leave it all out of the.
So this off season, obviously, like no other, that you've experienced, players have experienced. So I ask you, when you guys got back into the gym, you guys see everyone. Was there a player at all that was like, oh my gosh, this person looks like they're hitting the ground running, they're in mid-season form? Who most impressed you that first day of practice?
Well, I think 2 for sure. Pellegrin Vargas has just been a delight entire career here, and he gets better annually. He's slimmed down. He worked the game during COVID, and you can tell that it has again made another difference. I mean, he's taken another leap again, and that perhaps is not surprising to most, because he's put in the hard work to get to the top level of which he is, one of the premier players in our conference. The other individual who I think is a great surprise, perhaps, but he's also, I remember seeing him the first day and my eyes opened really wide, was Bryce Walker, our freshman out of Illinois. And he's obviously a part of a junior national team and didn't have a chance to compete last spring/summer because of COVID. But his physical size, his arm, his point scoring ability from the service line, his net presence, what he has done as a freshman, and we're deep in the middle and we have a lot of experience in the middle, but what he's done really opened my eyes to the quality of play that he can bring to the gym. And I'm really looking forward to him showcasing his talents this conference season.
Well, Coach, you talk about the freshman. Do want to ask you about another freshman, Vicente Ibarra from Chile. It seems like you guys now have that Chilean pipeline. Last time we saw him, he was, I believe it was the Pan American Games, or he was just tearing it up against Puerto Rico. Can you talk a little bit about him and if we may expect to see some playing time from him this season?
Well, he's only had about a week and a half practice with us as a mid-year transfer. So, he's a little rusty, obviously different ball than the international ball, playing with the multi. So he's trying to get used to that. But his upside is so bright, Vinny. I mean, physical presence, really good net play, quick lightning arm, authority from the service line, and size out of the back row. And our biggest dilemma a year ago was the fact that we did not have a sufficient enough O2 to complement Pellegrin. We did not. Vicente now is that guy, and teams will not be able to load up on Pellegrin anymore. If we can get production out of our opposite, that'll make us even more deadlier. But I think Vicente will see quite a lot of playing time immediately, and hopefully he has an impact on the matches right from the get-go in Muncie.
Well, speaking about Pellegrin Vargas, he's now joined us in the Zoom. So I guess we'll get started. Pellegrin, great to see you. Can you talk a little bit about this season or this upcoming season for you? A year ago, probably weren't expecting you to be here, but what made you come back to Fort Wayne to play another year?
I think it was just that feeling of not being done, leaving something not finished. This place has given me so many memories, so many people that have impacted my life in one way or another that certainly I was talking to Richie when we were done. Certainly there was that feeling of not being done. And obviously with the world just transpiring the way it is, there's a lot of uncertainty. I was trying to make the leap and play professionally, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and talked to my family and we evaluated the options we had. And certainly I think going for a master's degree was the best option at that moment. And I think it still is. I'm not regretting anything. So I'm really thankful I'm back. Super excited to get back on the court in a couple of days. And nothing to complain about. It's been great.
And we're also joined by Richie Dydrick. Butchered that name. Apologies about that, Richie. Yeah, but I want to ask both of you guys, you're grad students. One of the interesting things is obviously the course load that you guys have as graduate students as opposed to upperclassmen. So I want to ask, how course-wise, how challenging is graduate school as opposed to being an underclassman?
I mean, really, the course load is different. I wouldn't say it's much more per se. It's a lot more papers and things along those lines. The most difficult part for myself has been the transition from being done mentally over the summer to now coming back into it. Obviously, once the weeks start rolling by, it becomes much easier. And now we're just kind of rolling with the punches.
Yeah. Well, talking about rolling with the punches, you guys are going to hopefully be throwing some this upcoming weekend as you're going down to play Ball State. Talk a little bit about this match. What are a couple of things that you guys are going to have to do well in this match and during the series to come away with 2 wins this weekend?
I think the little things is going to make a difference, especially coming back from a 9-month break. It's going to be just trying to stay in it. I think we were kind of away from the competition mindset because we haven't seen anyone else on the other side of the net. So I think just being communicative, just saying to our game plan and doing all those things that we haven't done in 9 months. So I think we're ready. I think we've prepared ourselves the right way. Now it's just going to be, like Richie said, rolling with the punches again, going into the season and getting into that state of mind, if you will. Just getting used to season again, and obviously season this year is going to be a little different, but that competition is what's going to be a little different. I was talking to Coach a couple days ago. I'm looking forward to competing again, seeing someone else in the other side of the court, and hopefully that shakes some of the rust off too.
And Richie, I want to ask you, obviously, a little bit of a different schedule this year. You're going to be playing teams on back-to-back nights, or in some cases, 2 matches in 3 days. From a player, do you like that, getting to see the same team, so quickly after playing them the first time?
I think any other time in my college career, I may be like, well, it kind of stinks, blah, blah, blah. But you know what, right now at this point, and I think I can talk for most of the team, we're just happy to play somebody else, get in the gym. Like Pele said, just have that competitive edge come back to us. We've been training super, super hard in the fall semester, now coming into the spring. And we could play the same team 3 times in a day. I'm just happy to start getting after it again and see another jersey in the gym.
Right. And we'll end it on this, guys. I want to thank you first for taking time, do this interview and everything. But we'll end on this question for you guys this season. I know you're excited to be back, but you guys are competitors. So what would you guys at the end of the season consider a successful season for Purdue Fort Wayne?
Well, first of all, we got to finish it. So that's what we're keeping our fingers crossed on. But I think just first of all, everyone staying healthy, doing their best, giving it all. And at the end of the day, one of our biggest goals is to win the MIVA. So if we can leave this university saying we won the MIVA in 2021, that'll be something big for us, and that's kind of what we left without completing that made us come back this year. So super excited to get back on the court and give it all. I think if you leave giving it all, there's nothing that you're gonna regret. So that's what we're going for.
And Rock, for you, kind of same question. What would you consider a successful season for the Mastodons?
Well, I agree with Pellegrin for sure. Finishing the season would be nice. There are goals, of course. We want to finish in the top 4 during the regular season. We'd like to host some playoff matches if at all possible. Lewis is head and shoulders above everybody. Can we go deeper than the semifinals? That's the big question. That's where we were a couple years ago. Loyola will be much more improved that they have Garrett Zoll back. And everybody within the MIVA actually is improved. So, I would like a deep run. Can we win the conference? We'll see. That's why nothing is ever determined on paper. It's the volleyball court. So I only care about hopefully going 1-0 on Friday, beating Ball State, and then going 1-0 again on Saturday. That's the goal.